Cokes, the Pepsis, and Nestle's of the world were asking for 50% recycled plastic when they remake the bottles. But they really didn't have a place to get that recycled plastic. Well, the Polymer Center, what it's going to do is we're going to bring it into our facility from the MRFs across the country. They're going to wash it, they're going to clean it, turn it into a food grade flake, basically, where they can then, sell that food grade flake to be melted and put back into your soda bottles, your Coke bottles, your water bottles. So you kind of complete the circle from curb, goes in your bin, goes all the way around, and gets sold back to you as a Coke bottle, water bottle. So that's the need for the Polymer Center. Like Caitlin said, we're opening one in Las Vegas. It's not open already. I think it is already open now, and then within the next 4 years, there's going to be 3 more across the U.S. Well, the closest one in the Northeast, they think, is in Southern Pennsylvania. So eventually, your material will go through that polymer process, and you'll be able to see that the Cokes that you buy are actually recycled product that you're putting in your bin. So it's pretty exciting.
So now your water bottle is going to be turned back into a water bottle again. It can be graded as that food grade as opposed to a water bottle being downgraded, which we take that water bottle and then we would turn it into the carpet or something to that nature. Like Tyler was mentioning, different companies have now, it's called a minimum content commitment. So they are saying we will at least have 50% of recycled material in our product that we are making. And this is an important thing because, again, it creates that need for those plastic bottles. It creates that cycle again to close that loop. I was going to say now it plays, of course. So we were just talking about closing the loop. So that is the biggest thing that we talk about is, say, when you put your recycling into the bin, those companies want that recycling. So we are now going to be able to give them to the companies. They're going to create it into something else. Buy things that are from recycled products. That is part of closing the loop. So if you can't necessarily recycle something, yes, you're going to have to throw it into the trash. That is inevitable. There's going to be things, little things. However, there are some things that you think are trash that don't have to be. Clothing is one of the biggest things. Textiles are now a ban, but you can donate them. Even if it has a button missing, a rip, a stain, as long as it is not wet or moldy, you can recycle it. They will take all of the clothes that are ripped and stained and they will break them down and they will give them to AutoZone places so that they can actually reuse those as rags and things like that. The stuff that cannot be used as the rags, or once they are done with the rags, they'll be broken down more and be used as car stuffing for the seats. So there's different things that can be used that can be taken out of the trash. But again, the other part of closing that loop is buying things that are made from recycled materials because it keeps that need for the recycled materials to be created. If you don't buy something that's made from recycled material, the manufacturer has no need to make it, which then means that it's not created, and we've now just completely lost the cycle. I'm going to turn it over to Tyler for some trash talk.
Sure, yeah. So obviously the big changes coming to
Stand over here just so the mic picks it up.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously the big changes coming to Danvers are the cards. That's just something that we've worked closely with the DPW because we talked about this, and the old way to do trash pickup is in the past. Now we've realized being a republic, our number one priority is safety. So if we can have one guy in the truck, using a mechanical arm to pick up, the cans when they go out versus having, one guy and then one guy driving, 2 guys in the back, running back and forth, throwing garbage, accidents happen that way. This way we keep people in the cab, we keep people safe, we keep people off the road. They can go home, to their families at the end of the day and not, be worried about getting hit by a car or getting, anything happening with the trash truck. I mean, think about it. When you're driving, down the road and you see a police car, you pull over, right? But for the trash guy, when he's on this road, you just drive around him, right? When you're driving. So that's how accidents happen with the trash trucks, and we hear about them, unfortunately, way too much. So we want to keep safety as a number one priority. Plus, the drivers, it helps with their longevity. I mean, if you think about it, a guy on the back of the truck is not going to last too long, throwing barrels, throwing bags of trash. He's going to take wear and tear on his body, and he's not going to be able to, have a long and successful career in this. So with the carts, we talked about with Danvers when we brought JRM on as a partner to Republic. We said we're really moving forward toward automation fully for all our municipalities. Now Danvers jumped right aboard and they said we want to be a part of that too, which is fantastic. So we said, listen, we can do this. We'll get new trucks for you guys, and this is kind of the rollout now. So the way we talked about the benefits for the carts, obviously are easy to roll. Instead of everyone having different carts that you buy from Home Depot or Lowe's, they're not very uniform. These are all uniform. If you come up here afterwards and try to push them around, they're fairly easy to move. They look a little bulky, but they're not that difficult to just tilt down and move forward. Like I mentioned, automatic carts are much safer for the residents, less injuries. They're easier to use. Caitlin talked about the plastic bags and the recycling. Well, instead of, we obviously can't put plastic bags in the recycling anymore. Well, now you have a cart that you can kind of take your recycling bin from your home, tip it in, and then, put it back in your house. That's what I do at our house, and it works out fine.
And they're covered, so
Yes.
that the wind doesn't take it.
That's the other thing too. Yes, the wind is a big player in there. This light plastic, these get caught in the wind, they'll tip over and run down the street. So, and then providing carts has proven to increase recycling collection. As we mentioned, you're going to have a larger trash bin, a larger recycling bin and a smaller trash bin. So we want to promote recycling. If you can start thinking about it now, saying, oh yeah, since I only have this limited space for my trash, maybe there's more things I can put in the recycling. And then full automation is the most efficient means of collection for us, at least. The driver can go out, pull up next to the cart, tip it in, put it down, and move on. So I don't know if you've ever seen an automated truck versus what the old trash trucks look like. So the old trash trucks, they were the rear load trucks. You have a driver, and like I said, you have a helper on the back holding on for dear life, driving down the street. Well, now you have a automated side load truck. We call them ASLs. So the driver pulls up. He has an arm that goes out. It can extend it pretty far. Pick up the container and put it back down. Where's my little thing here? Grab it from here, tip it up, and then put it back down like that. So that's going to be how they work. The truck chassis is the cab and the frame. There's a compacting body that pushes the trash together, and then the automatic arm. So again, there's one guy controlling all of this, and he can do his route. So again, longevity of these drivers is key to this. So with the equipment, you have your, the carts are easy to clean. All you gotta do is hose them out if they get dirty, dump it down. It's nothing crazy. You're gonna still have bag your trash, that's fine. It's just the recycling is gonna be loose. We always say empty, clean, and dry your recycling as best you can. If there's a little bit of liquid left in like your water bottle, that's fine. But if it's that can of tomato sauce, give it a little rinse, dump it, and then throw it in your recycling bin. That's going to keep us with that clean recycling that Caitlin's talking about, that these guys are picking through on the front lines of the recycling center. As I mentioned, the carts are easy to handle and move into position. I passed out some flyers on how to position your containers, on your street. It's going to be, you try to get that 3 feet of space in between something, whether your car, your mailbox, off the curb, stuff like that. And the carts aren't going to tip over when the wind blows. I've been with hurricanes and they haven't even tipped over. So they're heavy enough, they stay there, but yet light enough to tilt back and move forward. So the Town of Danvers, like I mentioned, they're going with the smaller trash cart. It's a 65 gallon. Actually, the one on display here is the blue one, so it's a little confusing. And the recycling carts are 95 gallon, and they're going to be blue. But again, you can kind of get the idea of what they're going to look like when they're sitting on the curb there. So as I mentioned, the carts should be placed out by 7 a.m. They're going to be 1 feet from the curb, 3 feet from other objects. The arm needs to reach out and grab them. It's not exact science. Don't be out there with a tape measure. Just, kind of guess, make sure they can get, the arm in between there. Place the arrows on when you're putting it out there, you want this part facing the curb, okay? So what's going to happen is the truck's going to come up. This is the key important there. That's going to grab onto it as well and tip it up. So handle toward your house, and then, this part of the front of it toward the street. That's very important too. And then carts in the winter, this is always a problem as well. Make sure you clear a path for the snow. They can't be buried in the snow. They're not gonna be able to pick that up. And then on a snowbank, that's when it gets a little dicey and stuff will break. They'll tip it down. So a couple other things we want to mention too. For the technologically advanced here, we have an app for Republic Services where if you are a resident now of Danvers, you can log on. You have an account, based on where you live, based on your address. All you got to do is log on your phone, search for your address, and that'll be your account. You don't have to worry about paying anything. Obviously, we build a town, so it's nothing had to do with pay, but that'll look like you have to, but it's not. You can report missed pickups. You can see your schedule. You can get weather delays if there's like a snowstorm or if there's a delay on the truck you broke down. We update that regularly. And then the coolest feature that we have coming out at the end of this year is called Track My Truck. Now what that is, for people that worry, oh, the guy's usually here at 9, but it's 10 o'clock now, where is he? The Track My Truck features can actually show you where the truck is on the route. So if you sign up for the app, you can see, oh, he's 10 stops away, so you don't have to panic about, hey, am I late putting my stuff out? You can actually see where he is on the route. So that's pretty exciting. We don't have that yet for the residential side, but that should be coming up at the end of the year. So that's something that's great. And if you want to sign up for the app, I put some information on how to sign up there. Anything else I forgot? I think that's...
So just 2 side notes. One, if you do call in for a bulk pickup or a white goods pickup, still continue to call the town like you normally do. That's not part of the app. This is more just for missed pickups and what the truck is doing itself. But the special pickups still continue doing what you normally do. And the second second topic, there is a sign-up sheet. So anybody, I know I really, really quickly went through the MRF and Greenworks and how, where the recycling goes. If you would like to take a tour of that, please sign up. We're going to be offering a few different dates that you can, certainly come and see you get to hear me again. If you don't mind hearing me again, listen to my whole story, you're more than welcome to sign up and be able to come on a tour and actually come see what happens to your recycling in person. I think I covered everything.
Yeah, so I think we'll open it up to questions, if anyone has any questions on the process.
Do you want to do yours first? And then
why don't
All right.
I'll go a little bit.
Sorry, real quick, we have just a few more slides that Erica wants to go over, and then.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about the carts themselves, what changes to expect, what material you're going to receive when you get the carts. So one of the biggest questions we've been receiving is, when am I getting the carts? So we're going to start the delivery of the carts on September 5th. That's the Tuesday after Labor Day. Everybody's not going to get them all at once. It is going to be a 3 to 4 week process to actually get them all out to everyone. So if you see your neighbor one day has one and you don't worry. They're most likely just coming the next morning. You'll be the first drop off. So it is going to take a little bit, but once you have them, you are welcome to start utilizing them. Republic's going to be able to collect them starting September 5th. So once you get them, please feel free to use them. Each household is going to receive 1 trash and 1 recycling cart. So if you do live in a multi-family or home with multiple units, you will be getting 1 trash cart and 1 recycling cart per unit. So if you live in a 3-family, you'll be getting 3 and 3. So this rollout is in partnership with the town, Republic Services. Rig is the manufacturer of the carts, and they will be the ones actually going out into the road and delivering them. So if you see guys from Rig in front of your house and they're just dropping off the cart, that's okay. We're also working with the recycling partnership. The town received a grant for the recycling carts. So we're working with them on recycling education. They were able to provide us some funding to purchase these carts, which has been great, and they've been a great resource to work with. We're happy to talk about that more if anybody has any questions about the recycling partnership. So when you get your cart, everybody is going to receive a packet of information. That packet, it's going to look just like this, is going to be tied on to one of your carts when you receive it. So included in this packet is first a welcome letter and an FAQ sheet. So we have a welcome letter, and on the back, just some common questions that we have been receiving. and answers to those questions. And we do have a link to the town website on these sheets where you can go read more about the changes. But this is a really good piece of information. If you have a question, don't feel like calling. It's probably on this sheet, so take a look at this first. You'll also be receiving a trash and recycling guide, more of a recycling guide of what you can and can't put in your recycling cart. So some of you may have gotten a flyer with that information today, but everybody will be receiving one of these informational cards. And then on the back of that card is information on cart placement. So like Tyler was talking about, where to place your cart, how to place it, that information will be on the back of the recycling guide. You'll also be getting a brand new trash and recycling guide. So this has information on trash, recycling, yard waste, household hazardous waste. All of that pickup information will be in this guide. Really great tool. We've always had one of these, but now it's going to be all updated, brand new information to reflect the new program. You'll also be receiving a blue and green week list. I'll get into this a little bit more, but recycling is moving to every other week collection, so you have to know what week am I going to be on. So this will be that list. All you have to do is just find your street. If it's on the blue side, you're a blue week. If it's on the green side, you're on a green week. You'll also be getting an updated calendar. This is for the rest of the 2023 year and 2024. This shows you blue and green week collection weeks, so you'll know which week to put your recycling out on. We have holiday dates, holiday delays for collection, special collection events, and yard waste collection dates. So all dates and information regarding collection is going to be on this sheet. But you'll also be getting another one in January for the brand new year. So if you lose this, don't worry, you're going to get another one. And all this information's on the town website too. And then also we just have an updated bulky item flyer. So if you have to get rid of those bulky items like a dishwasher, carpet, this has all of that information on there as well. I don't have a slide for this, but like Caitlin mentioned, textiles are banned in the state of Massachusetts. So we partnered with a vendor called Simple Recycling. They do curbside textile collection. So everyone's going to be getting a little door hanger with their information on how to schedule a pickup. If you do have textiles that you want collected, that will be included in the packet of information as well. So we already touched on this a little bit, but why is Danvers switching to these new carts? Mostly because we are going to automated collection. Like Tyler said, this is a much more efficient process. It's much safer for the staff and the haulers on the truck. So Danvers really wanted to utilize this, be a part of this new service. So we are moving to new carts. Another change, and I hope a lot of people are happy about this change, is that Danvers is now going to single stream recycling, which means everything can go in one cart. So you don't have to separate your paper from your plastic anymore. Everything can just go in that one cart, which makes it a lot simpler. You don't have to take everything out, make sure everything's separate. Just put it all in one bin and it will be collected. So every other week recycling is going to start October 1st. Everybody will have their carts by this point, so that's going to be the first week. The first week is a blue week, so if you're a green week, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait another week. But this is when we are going to start the every other week collection. And again, this is on the calendar that will be included when you get your carts delivered to you. So with the new carts, because everything does have to go in the recycling cart, nothing can be spilling over or sitting on the side of the cart. We really want to talk about ways that you can maximize the space with your cart. And one of the biggest things is flattening your recycling. So taking your water bottle and flattening it, it just saves so much space. Same thing with an aluminum can or a cardboard box. one of the questions that we have been receiving is people are very nervous about this isn't going to be big enough, but using these small, little changes, flattening your stuff, putting all your plastic and aluminum at the bottom, placing your cardboard and paper on top, that will be a space saver. So I do have a video from another community. Hopefully it works. So this is just going to show how, let's see, they can take something that is overflowing, right, an overflowing cart, and they're able to take all of that material and fit it into the recycling cart. So again, squeezing your aluminum products, flattening those aluminum cans, flattening the cardboard boxes. I mean, that's a big space saver. And what it looked like before can all fit in the cart after. So just small changes to make sure that you can fit your items in the cart. Another way to save space in your cart is reducing your waste. So that's something we are starting to push, starting to look more towards. So instead of, recycle everything, what are ways that you can reduce your waste and what waste you're, producing? So one of the things is utilizing reusable items. So instead of always buying a water bottle, can you get a reusable bottle that you can fill up? Make purchases wisely. So do you have to buy, the apples that are packaged in styrofoam and plastic, or can you just pick them up singularly? Composting is huge. We're hoping to promote more composting in town, finding some new programs for residents for composting, not just at home, but also collection. So that's something that is going to be in the works. Avoiding single-use plastics, again, with shopping bags, coffee cups, plates, styrofoam, water bottles. Those, what are ways that you can switch, those items into reusable items? And then also buying secondhand or even donating your items. Like Caitlin was talking about, bring your clothes to Goodwill. If they can't use them, they'll find another home for them. Furniture, I mean, you're not going to put your furniture in your trash cart, but small little changes like that can make a big difference with our waste stream and waste production. So now I'm going to go into some of the more common questions that we've been receiving since we've started releasing education about the new carts. So the first is, will I be able to get an additional cart? So the simple answer is yes, but we really want people to try and utilize the one trash cart and the one recycling cart at the beginning. Take those weeks to really think about, do I need an additional cart? If the answer is absolutely yes, I need another one, we will start taking requests for additional carts starting November 1st. We don't know what that process is going to look like yet, but we'll be sure to share that information on how you can request an additional cart when the time does come, because we do realize that some people will need them, but we really want people to try just using these two first. Another question we've been getting is, what do I do with my old bin or barrel? So we want to push residents to try and find other uses first for their bins. You can use them for yard waste. We do have yard waste stickers up here that are available. You can put your yard waste in the bin during your yard waste weeks. They will be collected. Just make sure you have that sticker on there so the hauler knows that this is yard waste and not just trash. You can do paper bags, or you can do barrels. That's completely fine as well. Yeah. But if you find that you don't have a need for your barrels anymore after getting your new carts, we are having a one drop-off collection event Saturday, September 23rd. This will be the first of probably a couple, depending on the need that we see during this first event. We're also holding our annual Zero Waste Recycling Weekend in October. That is on the calendar. We accept rigid plastics at that event, so you can also bring your barrels there as well. But we're going to start with this. If we find that there's a long line down the street, we will be planning additional events afterwards to collect these barrels. But first, find a way, you know, if there's we love to repurpose, love to reuse, so if you can reuse your barrels, that would be awesome. So if you do want to contact the DPW, we have an email, phone number, we're on the website. Give us a call anytime. Cheryl and Lee, they answer the phones, they're fantastic. So they will be able to answer any questions you have. We also are on Facebook and Twitter, so if you are tech savvy, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We share a lot of this information via social media, so if you do have accounts, please follow. We push a lot of our stuff there. So I think we're going to turn it over to questions. So if you do have a question, if you want to go up to the podium, just because we are recording this session, you can go up to the podium, talk into the mic. That way, everyone can hear you on the recording. So if you do have any questions, you can head up there. If you're not comfortable asking a question here, we also are taking questions written down with your contact information. We'll take that, give you a call back. We're happy to answer any questions that you have.
And if you go home and you think of questions, feel free to contact us.
Absolutely, yeah. If you go home and say, wait, I forgot to ask something, please give us a call anytime. Does anyone have any questions?
We answered them all. My first time, guys.
Yep.
Exciting. Somebody did.
So you said, once we receive the barrels, we can start using them.
Yep.
But the recycling isn't going to start until October 2nd. Are they going to be able to lift those in the trucks that they have?
Yeah, so starting September 5th, what happens is, and I don't know if you want to speak on this more.
October.
Yeah,
What we're doing, so we have these substitute trucks, we don't have, trucks are taking about, 10 to 12 months to order, which is a long time. So what we're doing is we're keeping the two-man routes going, and then they have tote tippers on the back of the trucks. So what they'll do is they'll have a driver there, and then they'll have a guy in the back of the truck. He pulls the car right up to the back of the tote tipper, presses a button, it flips it in, puts it back down, and they'll put it back up.
Okay. Okay, and if we want, we can still use the smaller ones, or you want us to use those?
so starting in October, it's just going to be
Right,
these.
but between September and October, we can
Yes.
go either way?
Yes, yep.
Okay, okay. All right, got it.
How much of single stream actually gets recycled?
You wanna talk
So
about this?
as of right now, practically, so about 30%, 85% of what you put into your bin is actually recycled.
Okay, because I had read 25%.
Yes, so standard has been 30% contamination, so 70% still being recycled. The MRF at Greenworks, so Greenworks, when Republic Services took over, we were at about a 35% contamination rate. We have now dropped it down to about a 15%. So it fluctuates a little bit depending on the month, but we're right around that 15% line now. So with Republic Services, we've been able to do a lot more education outreach. We've been doing a lot more with our customers and working with them on what we are accepting and what we are not accepting. So it's definitely being streamlined. I know NPR put out a lovely green piece, and NPR put out a lovely spiel on that only, I think it was 8% of recycling is being recycled. That's not the case. That is 8% of the recycling in the entire world. That also includes this table, that includes those chairs, the dashboards to your cars, things like that. So it was a very misconstrued statistic that they used in order to kind of gear their article. But that's not the case. The recycling that you actually put into your recycling bin is being recycled up to
Okay,
about
and
85%.
have you driven the streets of Danvers? I have a narrow street with no curb.
Yes. So
If I
there are
put
some-
my barrel 1 foot out, it's in the middle of the street.
back. So where the edge is, just keep it towards your house a foot, not out on.
Not out into.
Yes, sorry, towards your house a curb. So keep it in, just for those trucks that are going by, because yes, Danvers, there was one, a picture that we had that it said, like it was like 5 or 10 feet in between places. And I said, there is no place in Danvers that there's nothing within 5 feet of range. So yes, so.
Yeah, and my barrel has been hit more than once.
Exactly. So yeah, we do, you can pull it back a
rolled
little,
over.
so, that's scary. But yes, there are some busier streets that we do understand. But if you pull them towards your house a little, they should be all set, especially with the design of it as
Yeah.
well. It's a little more stable as opposed to the round ones that have the wobbly edges when a truck comes by and gets that air in the wind.
Hello, I have a daughter that's had this service for about 23, 24 years down in Texas where it's nice and warm. They don't have snow and ice. Question I had is, what if there's damage? She says she's had a few damaged, and she's been satisfied with the response. So what is going to be your response to a
So,
damaged cart?
so we're gonna have parts and pieces on hand. If the cart's able to be repaired, you can call the town. I'm not sure if it will be a town employee or someone from Republic will be going out to repair it. If it's beyond repair, you'll just be getting a replacement, a brand-new cart,
Okay,
okay?
okay, fine, fine. Okay. Okay, and in the snow ice situation, that'll be coordinated so that we don't have any problem with having to get a cart up a hill from our garage to get it out in time for pickup.
That would be the council.
We'll have weather delays.
Yeah.
We'll let you know if there are weather delays on that.
Okay,
But as far as, if there's snowbanks, we just want to make sure that, truck can go by, put the arm in there, grab it, pick it up and put it down. So the best you can do, and then we're going to let people know if, hey, we couldn't get into this guy's driveway, or we couldn't pick his barrel, was blocked by ice, we're going to let the town know that happens.
And the snow removal would be the council on aging that would, I think, coordinate that.
Hi. My question is about the slope, my front yard slopes. The grass slopes down, my driveway slopes down. How much of a slope can the barrel handle?
That's a good question. I think that's one I need to write down and probably get back to you with.
Okay.
They are pretty sturdy, they are pretty durable.
The square design of it kind of keeps it from slowly kind of moving one way or the other. So it does handle a pretty decent.
Maybe if you can check for me, we
Yeah.
might have to dig out a spot out front.
If you want to write down that question on a card and just leave your contact information,
Okay.
we'll
We
give
can
you
send
we'll give you a call back. Yeah.
All right, I'll do that after.
There's two, so we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drive by and check it out.
Hi.
Hi. I just had a question as a property manager or potentially a landlord of a four-family and below.
Yep.
Are there any fines or fees that could happen because people throw, or a tenant throws the wrong stuff in the wrong bag? And what happens when something like that happens?
Yeah, there wouldn't be any fees. The only thing that would happen is if the recycling is contaminated, it can be rejected. So I would say the worst thing that would happen is that the recycling or trash would be left behind. Once the issue, is fixed, it will just be picked up that next collection day.
And we'll
Yeah.
probably notify, be like, hey, we noticed a lot of trash bags in the recycling at, 123 Main Street. And that's gonna be we'll let the town know, hey, just keep an eye on it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, but there wouldn't be any fees or fines associated, yeah.
It wouldn't be through the city, but I've heard some landlords take it upon themselves to say, you need to follow the rules of the city, and if you do not, there will be a fine. You would fine them, as the landlord. They would get a fine in that sense,
Yeah.
not necessarily from the city, but to kind of, a lot of people don't seem to, change their ways sometimes unless it hits their pocket. So that sometimes deters people. And I do know that some landlords have gone that way where they have written it into their contract, that if you are, you have to follow the trash and recycling rules, and provide whatever the rules are, so.
Hi.
There's been a couple mentions about the cost savings related to the one truck, one employee. Is any provision being made for the guys that have been out there slugging that trash around for years? The guys are all going to lose their jobs?
They are still staying on, so we still need laborers, regardless, at the end of the day, we still need to have some of the guys depending with our commercial side. But truth be told, not a lot of people want to stand on the back of the truck in December and slug trash, unfortunately.
But-
You know any people, we'll
But a
hire
lot,
honestly,
but
I
a
will hire you
lot,
on the spot
but a lot
if
of
we can
people
find
like to get that paycheck every week.
Yes, so the people that have been, that are gonna be from here, you know, those trucks, that those guys that are not gonna have a truck anymore, they will be moving to another part of what we need. We desperately need laborers regardless,
So-
on the commercial end, so
So there's really no savings.
for us, there is though, because it streamlines safety. We don't have a gentleman jumping off the truck and now breaking his leg, so now we're paying for workman's comp as well as another person to replace him. So it does cost save because of the safety aspect of it. in the
Okay.
truck.
I have another question. So, you mentioned that if you have contamination in your recycle, they will refuse it, or they'll know it was you. How do they know, once they dump it into the truck, how do they know where it came from?
So like Tyler had mentioned, when the guys are on their route, they can make note, okay, this had a plastic bag in it. And we'll basically be making sure, we have a trash coordinator on the streets. He is amazing. There are mornings where he goes out and he's actually looking in everybody's recycling, looking for
recycling
contamination. And we have actually had discussions about really ramping that back up, using the recycling contamination stickers. We were using them a few years ago. COVID kind of put, a strain on that. But with this new rollout, we're really going to be utilizing those stickers and contamination.
Because I'm gonna say, you have a
notices again.
cover on it, and then he's flipping it, so how does the driver know? You said when it gets to the facility, you know if it's where it came from, and you have to
There's cameras,
But I think
so.
what Kate was talking about is typically like, it's gonna be a very noticeable thing that's gonna be, pops out of there and say, this doesn't belong in here, like if a couch somehow gets in the recycling.
Oh, yeah.
That's gonna be something that people notice, but, you know,
The plastic bags are inevitably gonna be in there. So our driver, when he dumps, he's gonna look in that, there is a camera.
Oh, as he's done.
If he sees all plastic bags coming out, he's gonna take a note,
Right.
all right, keep an eye on this one next week, something's going on.
Oh,
And
okay.
then the next week, before he'll get out, he'll check it and say, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
So it's not, we're not going after every single person every single time. It is, a small learning
I was
curve.
just curious, how do they know what's in that barrel? I
Yeah.
mean, right now, it's open and the guy can see it when he goes to pick it up.
Yeah.
like the Mass DEP people, they'll sit at our transfer station where the trash goes in, and they'll say if a, truck dumps, not a commercial truck or from a town, they dump and they see a ton of cardboard in there, well, that's a fail on the trash side, because we're not doing our part in educating our customers, saying, this belongs in the trash, so we'll incur that fine, and we gotta go out and do these education and
Right.
tell people, hey, you're putting way too much cardboard in there, next time we're gonna start charging. So
Okay.
Cardboard is one of those, it's been there for a long time out of the trash, but cardboard also has a lot of people's addresses on them. And the lovely, and the DEP is not afraid to look and say, whose address is this?
Yep.
And so there are times where, if you have a whole nice, clean recycling and there's this one chunk of all contamination, for the most part, you're gonna think it's the same person or the same area. And they're not afraid to open up some bags to look to see,
Yeah.
who the contaminated person is and kind of.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
My question is there an app or is there something that you want to throw it away and what do you do with it?
Yes, there
Oh,
is.
okay.
So there is. So the Mass DEP, the state put it together. Yeah, if you want to pull it up. Yeah, it's called the
I didn't talk
Recyclopedia.
about it, I'm sorry. I
okay.
briefly stated it, and thank you for saying so.
So we have it embedded on our website, on the Town of Danvers website. But if you also just Google Recyclopedia, it will come up and you can type in your item. It tells you, should it go in the trash? Should it go in the recycling? Is this something that you should actually talk to the town about? That's a little more special. So yeah, they have just a whole system of literally anything you can think of. So it's a really, really great tool.
And the Recyclopedia, somebody reads all of them. So there's over 700 items right now. If you go to search and it is not up there, or that option is not up there, you can suggest it. She actually sits there and she will read every suggestion and she will enter in every suggestion. So if you don't see something that's on there, request it, go back in about a week or two, and it should probably be there. So there is somebody that does monitor this, and it, like Erica said, it is awesome. It will say, you know, trash it, recycle it, these are your options. It's really neat to kind of, even you can just play around with it, you start to type in and it will kind of give you options and, you know, like things, and very easy to use.
And they have another tool on that same website. So if you go to this recyclesmartma.org, it will bring you to the Recyclopedia. It will also bring you to another tool called Beyond the Bin. And that's another tool for more, like things like mattresses. If you don't want to go through the town mattress disposal, if you type in mattresses, it will give you places all over the state and the options that you have to dispose of a mattress or weird items. So it's a really a great tool. So Recyclopedia and Beyond the Bin, really, really good tools. Really encourage you to use them. Anything else? We have a couple more minutes, so if there's any other questions. If not, I'm going to stick around for a little bit. So if you want to come up, chat for a little bit, please feel free. And thank you so much for attending. This was a really great discussion, so thank you very much.
Take these to the schools, these informational sessions to the schools.
I do presentations for schools, so if you ever have any,
Other
you
senior
can team up.
centers,
Yeah, that would be
other
great.
senior centers as well, because I live in Beverly, I own a home in Danvers.
Oh, yeah.
So, but
Suggested.
Yeah, if you want to, actually, I brought my notepad for a reason. So yeah, I think it would be cool to work with other cities too, and going into the senior centers, because everyone's different, but really we're all working towards the same thing in the end.
right.
So,
But schools in particular, get the kids involved into this information. So
Yeah.
you know, the parents aren't struggling with the kids, they know you need to touch that.
Perfectly fine.
yeah, and the good thing about kids too is if they learn it in school, they'll go home and tell their parents, "You're doing this wrong. You got to do it right."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Do you keep the caps on?
Yeah, so yeah, you want to keep the caps on. That's actually preferred because, like Caitlin was saying, they go through the grates, they fall through. So yeah, if you can